why a lot of people move to Jamaica or return to Jamaica and have to come back to America is because most of the time is because they ran out of money. Simple. Their financial situation, people do go to Jamaica and hit hard times just the same, even when they go with millions, go with paid off cars and paid off houses. They just never had a business plan. They never had nothing to say, generate any income back in, didn't have a job, didn't have anything set up. They just knew they was going to Jamaica and go home. But some people will make it because guess what? That they decide that they're going to stay. And people stay there with less, with nothing. I've seen people that went to Jamaica actually got deported and doing way better in Jamaica than when they was living in the United States. People hear that somebody leaving Jamaica or moving back to the UK or the US. It's a normal thing. It's not a... So welcome back, everybody. If it's your first time here, welcome. And if you've been here before, welcome back. Well, this is for the people that usually, the people that left Jamaica want to come to America for better life, and then to find out, hey, America is not what it cut out to be. Right now in America, it's very tough for a lot of people. Believe it or not, there's people, and actually Jamaicans, that live on the bridges in America. People might not want to talk about it, but they do. There's a lot of homeless Jamaican right now in America, and a lot of them either in a shelter, living on the streets, or some of them catch with them family member. They're homeless. They just the fact that they have a family member they could go to. Now, with that said, remember, a lot of people left Jamaica in the first place was, some of them, not everyone, some desire just to come here, earn enough money, and then go back to Jamaica, or be able to buy a house, build a house, save enough money to have their own businesses. Because I've met a few people that was their plan. But they get here and things have changed over the years. They, had families and all kind of, situations. Everybody know what goes on. Some people come here legally in the first place and then became illegal. Some people decided, hey, I'm just not going back, and then they become illegal. So they have that situation going on where we all know citizens, green card holders, have to be wary to travel with their documents all the time. You got to make sure that you have everything in place just in case, because everyone is on the chopping block right now. Once you're an immigrant, you're on the chopping block, and some people might not want to accept this, but that's a fact. When it comes down to why a lot of us had left Jamaica in the first place, it's for the simple fact that we came here for a better life, or United States, Canada, UK, wherever. Now, with that said, the fact is this: why a lot of people move to Jamaica or return to Jamaica and have to come back to America is because most of the time is because they ran out of money. Simple. Their financial situation, people do go to Jamaica and hit hard times just the same, even when they go with millions, go with paid off cars and paid off houses. They just never had a business plan. They never had nothing to say, generate any income back in, didn't have a job, didn't have anything set up. They just knew they was going to Jamaica and go home. But some people will make it because guess what? That they decide that they're going to stay. And people stay there with less, with nothing. I've seen people that went to Jamaica actually got deported and doing way better in Jamaica than when they was living in the United States. Now, I can't say that will happen for all, but a lot of the people that also get sent back or decide to come back to America is because when they get there, like I said, they run out of money. Not only that, they realize that Jamaica is a small place for them, especially once you live in a bigger world, which we all know America and Canada, how big they are in the UK. You get to Jamaica, Jamaica is just a spot on the, on the map. That's basically it. How much stuff you can really do in Jamaica more than the beach or river, but that's for people that really wants it. For you to stay in Jamaica, to be honest, and live in Jamaica, that have to be something that you really want, because the moment you done explore other places, live other places, it's kind of a hard thing to just say, oh, I'm going to be in Jamaica and that's it. But to be fair, I do believe if a lot of people really have the resources and had the money that they really desire to live there, they will stay. they will come back to America, travel probably, and then go back to Jamaica. And that's what I do know. I know a lot of the times people just hit rock bottom and they do have to leave. Some people went down there, like I said before, they go down there, they rent a place, they rent a car, or they buy a car with a car note, and also a mortgage. And those things will tend to put stress on you, because it's going to be like no difference if you was living in America, where you have a mortgage, you have a car note, and you have insurances and all kind of stuff. That's a lot of stress, and especially if you're not making the same amount of money like you would if you was living here in the United States. Now remember, now the US dollar is totally different from Jamaican dollar, right? It's not the same. They're not equal. I don't care what nobody want to say, a dollar. No, it's not. US dollar is a US dollar. A US dollar could give you 155 Jamaican dollars. You get what I'm saying? So everyone knows there is a difference with that. I'm not saying that the only reason why people do leave Jamaica and come back. Sometimes it's just simple because they have other desire, or realize that their ambition or their dreams cannot be met or filled living in Jamaica. To me, I cannot get up here and say life would be perfect for me to go back to Jamaica. But you do have to have a plan. I will tell you this, you do have to have a plan. If you do have the desire to return back to Jamaica and you have a family, you do have to think twice. A lot of the times, what people don't understand is that when you reach Jamaica, you know, it take money. Jamaica does take money. If you don't have the kind of money to survive in a Jamaica, you won't survive, especially if you're a big shot and you love to hype or splurge and you can't settle for certain things, or you don't eat certain things. You will have a problem because your money's going to blow fast. If you're going to be the type of person to go and eat a lot of fast food, or every time they pick at them say, I want to go somewhere, KFC. It's not wrong with KFC, but if you're smart enough, you know KFC is not worth the money. I'm not saying you won't take your child out even once a week for fast food. Don't get me wrong. I'm not talking about that kind of situation. I'm talking about where you're going to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner each day. And a lot of people do go down there and do try to live that lifestyle. And it won't pencil out. I'm going to tell you, it will not pencil out. You have to be humble, especially when you just go there and get your head, take your head out of the cloud and realize that, okay, I got to adjust. You have to be willing to adjust to the settings in Jamaica. If you're not willing to adjust, you won't make it. I don't think anyone is exempt from what's going on right now, the struggles of day-to-day living. So going home to Jamaica, if you're not fit and ready financially for it, I would say, you know, wait it out a little bit. I know some of us don't have no choice, especially for the deportees or people that have to leave, you know, voluntary ones too, because there's a lot of people out here on the DL that have to leave voluntarily and they're not talking about it, and that's okay. That's people here. Welcome. And if you've been here before, welcome back. My name is Julie. I hope all is well with everyone. Today's a little bit, I'm going to put my seatbelt on so you guys don't have to tell me. I'm going to say this about a lot of the reason why people always move to Jamaica and then return back to the United States, Canada, Europe, or whatever. It's simple reasons most of the time. They didn't plan their thing out right or well enough. A lot of us don't most of the time, because we assume because we get we have a certain amount of money, it could cover us. Sometimes is the fact that we calculate wrong, and sometimes when moving to another country, some people think moving into a rental is okay. Some people thinking having a mortgage and moving to Jamaica is okay because they have a certain amount of money coming in each month or whatever. But a lot of us don't anticipate that things do happen. Situations change over the years, you know, our circumstances and family members. Some partners don't want to even move in the first place, so they get sick of it, of being there. Especially when you're in a relationship, things tend to get a little bit harder for a lot of us, because sometimes one spouse wants to move, the next one wants to move, or don't want to move, and you know how it goes. When you're in a relationship, things tends to be a little bit different. Now, I'm not saying that's the case for everybody. Everyone's situation is different. delicate. Matter of fact, moving to Jamaica or returning home, if you've been living in the States for years and you've been out of Jamaica for maybe 20 years or so, or move to Canada, Europe, whatever it is, or America for some of us like myself. I've done this before, so I can speak on the part that I know and the factors for me, and not for everyone. For me, I'm speaking on it. When it comes down to my situation, at first it was more like I was uncertain if I wanted to be there. I had kids. Not only that, is the fact that it was more like a fun tip for me, where Jamaica was fun. I was younger, I didn't understand stuff. I had businesses, I've done things there, so I do have that part of it too, where I was enjoying myself at the same time. When it comes down to the factor why a lot more people do leave when they get there, is because they can't afford to stay there, period. Some people, they're more mature people, most of the time they can, because they're established, they have a home. When some won't, they'll be paying rent. And I wouldn't advise anyone paying a mortgage and rent, moving to Jamaica, and you don't really have a solid income. That's my opinion. If you're gonna go to Jamaica and you're just gonna start a business, you're paying rent, you don't own a car, you're paying, you're more like paying a car payment plus a mortgage and a rent, I'm gonna tell you this, it's gonna eat you up. I don't care what nobody say, it will eat you alive. It will take up all your money if you're just going off of a base income, even if you have a job. Not for everyone. Some people are fine taking a taxi or Uber or whatever, but some people like to have their own, so they'll go and take a car note. You get a car note, I'm gonna tell you this, Jamaica will take every dime from you, because it's not the same as if you're here in the States. Now, the housing is also a factor why a lot of people leave Jamaica and in the first place, because some people want to obtain or buy a home. Some people don't have a choice but to go back to Jamaica without even having these things. But what I am going to say is, everything I'm talking about, you can get it in Jamaica if you do things right. With Jamaica, you have to willing to make sacrifices. Number one, if you're not willing to make sacrifices and move back to Jamaica, don't do it. I'm going to tell you, it's going to beat you. You get what I'm saying? Some of the most difficult decision is for anyone to make up their mind to move back home to Jamaica, for simple fact that the economy is bad. It's struggling for everybody right now, included in America. I'm not sure about the other countries like Canada and Europe, but I hear people talking about it, so I guess it's tough for everyone. I don't think anyone is exempt from what's going on right now, the struggles of day-to-day living. So going home to Jamaica, if you're not fit and ready financially for it, I would say, wait it out a little bit. I know some of us don't have no choice, especially for the deportees or people that have to leave, voluntary ones too, because there's a lot of people out here on the DL that have to leave voluntarily and they're not talking about it, and that's okay. That's people's business. They can keep it private as they want. But some of us even don't know that it's going to happen to them down the line, don't have no preparation, nothing ready for if they do get deported back home. It's going to be tough. When you want something, it's a different feeling from when you're being forced or demanded you have to leave, or you hear it, oh, you have to leave. When you hear you have to leave, that's a different story from when I want to leave, I want to go, I would love to go back home to Jamaica, stuff like that. Remember, enough of we left Jamaica because of situations uncontrollable. Matter of fact, a lot of us left Jamaica 10-20 years ago under circumstances where it was tough to begin with. Most people, if they had it in Jamaica, they would have never left in the first place. If Jamaica back then actually wasn't even safe at some point, and that's the truth. We all know there's a lot of violence in Jamaica, but it's everywhere. Violence is everywhere, so we can't use that as an excuse why people are really leaving anymore. I would more say why people leave Jamaica in the first place is because of financial reasons. Going back to Jamaica, sometimes we feel like everything would be fine if we was to go back, rent somewhere to live, okay? And that's not the best way to go, or they're going to mortgage a home to live. I said it before. It's not the best ideal thing for anyone that's returning home on a set income most of the time to be picking up a car note or a renting an apartment or a mortgage. some people don't have a choice, so don't get me wrong. I'm speaking for people that have the money to do it or whatever. Some people don't, and that's some of the reason why a lot of people leave, because they didn't anticipate how expensive Jamaica would really be. Mind you, food is expensive by itself. Maintaining a home, even if you own it, is expensive, because there's maintenance. The bills are expensive as well, because light is different from when you're in America now. It could, especially when you use the air conditioner and that luxury of having your air on 24/7 like we do here in Florida. I know I can't keep it on because I've been here and I can't keep it on, my air on all the time. At night, yeah, I will turn it on. There's a cooler place down there and run the ceiling fans, but that's basically it. A lot of the times why people do, why is he on this way? Why, he's coming, look like he's coming direct towards us. Anyways, why a lot of people do also go to Jamaica and have to return home, because the money they thought they had cannot keep them, cannot maintain the everyday and the everyday living. The money that they're getting even monthly cannot add up to the bills that they done accumulated over the months. You know, they underestimated the food, the rental, the car note if they did pick up a car payment. And sometimes it is cheaper to pick up a car payment than using taxis, especially if you're living in certain areas like rural areas. It can be very costly. If you have children going to school, those are some of the reasons why a lot of people do purchase a car, because we have kids. We can't do it by paying every week and every month, for this pickup and drop off payment. Anyway, nevertheless, some of the reason why a lot of people really, like younger people, really have to return back to their country is because they definitely just looking at the party side of it now, understanding that if you get up and you party every day, you still have your rent, you still have your light, you still have your water, you still have your car insurance, which car insurance is just a year or every 6 months or whatever. So those things are okay. But for some of those young people that run down there and still haven't figured out what they really want out of life yet, it's not a good idea to run and move to Jamaica. If you want to do it like I did for a few years and then leave, that's okay. But if you're looking for forever and feel like you're going to really get rich overnight, it's not going to work out that way for a lot of young people. And that's the reason why I'm not forcing the issue with my kids not wanting to be there. But I know I have to return home. And the thing is, I have the luxury of having my husband that's saying, hey, if you want to go, it's okay. But we have that figured out. We'll talk about that a little bit later. If this far, please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing. God bless.